getting some sun for this pale glow-in-the-dark body of mine. I'm literally turning invisible. Do you see how white the tops of my arms are? What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Hope everyone's good. I'm just gonna jump right in here. All of us have things we're not proud of, right? We've done stuff that we regret. Lord knows I have. And when we do something that's wrong, we feel guilty or we feel convicted. And you might be wondering, is there even a difference? And what if I told you, yes, there is a difference? Let me introduce you to the two. So guilt is, I made a mistake and I feel really terrible about it. You have no hope of redemption. You only feel condemned. Guilt keeps you stuck. And then you have conviction, which is, I made a mistake and I feel bad, but I can ask forgiveness and I don't have to do that anymore. Conviction is this wake up revelation moment where you have this epiphany. That leads to repentance. So we've talked about guilt and we've talked about conviction, but here's another word I want you to know about. Shame. Now you might be sitting there thinking, Dev, isn't that the same thing as guilt? Isn't shame and guilt they're like, what's the difference? The answer is no, they are not the same thing. If guilt's the one that says, I made a mistake, shame's the one that says, I am a mistake. Let me ask you a question. How do you know if you're letting shame rent out space in your head? Shame is always going to make you wonder, how can anyone like me? The way I look, the way I talk, I just feel like a big fat fake. Shame makes you say, I'm worse than others and I'm a bad person. If that's you, I want you to read this. Shame is our biggest obstacle to personal and spiritual growth. And because shame is tied to who we are as a person, it's not really something that we can ask for forgiveness for. Now you might be like, oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. What do I do then? Two things. Embrace the fact that just because you made a mistake, it doesn't make you a bad person. And second, notice how you talk to yourself. Would you say what you say to yourself to one of your best friends? Did you just say no? Honey, you better remember who you are and whose you are, okay? You're a child of God. If you know the Lord and you trust Him, believe who He says you are.
You know something, Lady Aberlin?
What, Daniel?
I've been wondering about something myself.
Something about Mr. Skunk?
Something about mistakes.
What is it?
I've been wondering if I was a mistake.
If you were a mistake? What do you mean, Daniel?
Well, for one thing, I've never seen a tiger that looks like me.
No.
And I've never heard a tiger that talks like me.
No.
And I don't know any other tiger who lives in a clock.
No, neither do I.
Or loves people.
Oh, Daniel.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm too tame. Sometimes I wonder if I'm a mistake. I'm not like anyone else I know. When I'm asleep or even awake, sometimes I get to dreaming that I'm just a fake. I'm not like anyone else. Others I know are big and are wild. I'm very small and quite tame. Most of the time, I'm weak and I'm mild. Do you suppose that's a shame?
Oh, no.
Often I wonder if I'm a mistake. I'm not supposed to be scared, am I? Sometimes I cry and sometimes I shake. wondering, isn't it true that the strong never break? I'm not like anyone else I know. I'm not like anyone else.
I think you are just fine as you are. I really must tell you, I do like the person that you are becoming. When you are sleeping, when you are waking, you are my friend. It's really true. I like you. Crying or shaking or dreaming or breaking, there's no one mistaking it. You're my best friend. I think you are just fine as you are. I really must tell you, I do like the person that you are becoming. When you are sleeping, when you are waking, you're not a fake, you're no mistake, you are my friend. I
wonder if I'm
you
a
are
mistake.
just fine as you are.
I'm not like
I
anyone
really
else I
must tell
know.
you, I do
When I'm asleep
the
or
person
even
that
awake,
you are
sometimes I get to
becoming.
dreaming that
When
I'm
you
just
are
a fake. I'm not
when
like
you are waking,
anyone
you
else.
are my friend.
Others I
really
know
true.
are big and
I
are wise.
like
I'm
you.
very small and quite
Crying
tame.
or shaking or
Most
dreaming
of the
or
time
breaking,
I'm
there's
weak
no one
and I'm
mistaking
mild.
it.
Do you
You're
suppose that's a
my
shame?
best friend.
Often I wonder if
you
I'm
are
a
just
mistake.
fine as you are.
I'm not supposed to be
I
scared,
really must
am
tell
I?
you, I do
Sometimes I cry and
the
sometimes
person
I
that you
shake,
are
wondering, isn't
becoming.
it true that the strong
When you
never
are
break?
sleeping,
I'm not
when
like
you are waking,
anyone
you're
else.
not a fake.
No, I'm not
You're
like
no mistake. You're my
anyone else.
friend. I think you are just fine, exactly the way you are.
The way I look,
Yes.
the way I talk,
Yes.
the way I love.
Especially that.
You don't think I'm a mistake?
You're the tiger I love most in this whole universe.
Oh, thanks, Lady Evelyn. I love you too.
That's what God's trying to say to you. Discern and listen to the voice of God, okay? Anything else? It's just the enemy talking. The enemy says, you figure it out alone. Proverbs 3:5-6, I will direct your steps. The enemy says, it's impossible. Luke 18:27, all things are possible. The enemy says, nobody loves you. John 3:16, I love you. The enemy says, you can never forgive yourself. Romans 8:1, I forgive you. The enemy says, you're not smart enough. 1 Corinthians 1:30, I will give you wisdom. The enemy says, you can't do it. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things. The enemy says, you're all alone. Hebrews 13:5,
I will never leave you.
if the enemy is using shame to hold you back and keep you stuck, you call it out for what it is and tell him to kick rocks. And you start reprogramming that bright little beautiful mind of yours, honey. DoorDash is here with my burrito, but I love you. I will see you next week. Keep the faith and wash your hands.